Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 4 to What If Goku's Heart Virus Turned Him into a Zombie. Before we get into today's episode, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the Omniverse by checking out the Discord, Patreon, and both Google Docs on the homepage, as well as commenting future requests and expectations for this year and for the future in the comment section down below. All that said, let's get started. Last we left off 9 miles off South City, the androids have appeared, and now's time to see if they're actually the threat that they were in the original timeline, or if the zombie infection, especially with zombie Goku, has outweighed them and any future threat to come. So they begin attacking the city that they first arrived in, and as per usual, Earth's special forces come. Kamikalo utterly dominates 17 from the start, while Vegeta in his Super Vegeta form fights number 18. And if it wasn't obvious because of this, it's a wash. Piccolo is easily able to defeat number 17 after a brief encounter, and then Vegeta introduces the Big Bang attack and wipes 18 off the face of the planet. Afterwards, Piccolo says that, like the zombie threat, it's never over that easy. They might have prepared themselves beyond the brink, but if these are from the Red Ribbon, there has to be a lab or somewhere where they can locate more of them that might be able to get brought in the future. So they gotta stop them right here and now. And he goes on to say that if they don't stop what they're going to stop right now and go to this lab, then stronger versions of these two bots here are going to appear, and it could not be as simple next time. They got extremely lucky. But Vegeta just smirks and triumphs over his victory over these two, considering the fact that he only took out one and not both. But you know what? We're just going to give it to him. And he says, "There's no need for you to cause concern, Namekian. If these two bots were as simple as swatting flies, what makes you think that any future ones will be a threat?" And he says, holding up his signature thumb pose, "Bring all of those bots on. I will crush them all with my bare hands." At this point, Piccolo has lost his patience and powers to the high heavens angrily at Vegeta. And he gets back into cape form and shows off more of his power and dominance and anger, saying that Vegeta, he's gone too far. This arrogance, this cockiness, this overconfidence, that's exactly what led to him getting scratched and almost turned him into a full undead killer. And this could have ended badly if they didn't prepare. Even Vegeta has to notice that. That's why he ascended past Super Saiyan, not just to take a shortcut. And he says, whether he likes it or not, Piccolo is in charge. He is pretty much the strongest one here, aside from Vegeta being around the same level, if not a tad bit weaker. There's no cause for shortcuts or anything like that, because if they do not take the precaution that is needed anymore in this future, then they're all going to die, and they'll end up just like Goku, sealed away, undead, and not able to return to the living world ever again. Now, does Vegeta really want that? And Vegeta just angrily goes back to base form, doesn't say a word, and then just flies away. So, it really comes down to the fact that Vegeta knew he lost, but, he couldn't say it because of his pride. Everybody goes to Bulma. All the Earthlings and Piccolo go to Bulma and ask about the lab for the Red Ribbon Army. And then she talks about Dr. Duro and the vague location of the lab. So eventually they do find it around the same time that it took them in canon to find it, so not even that long. Once they get inside, the first thing they see is a pod for number 16 and the open pods for 17 and 18. And Krillin and everybody else lays waste to them instantly. Piccolo says that they gotta keep searching because they cannot leave a scrap behind of any remnant of this Red Ribbon army. There's always more. And Tien proves this by calling everyone over to an underground bunker that nobody even saw until just now. But with Tien's keen eyesight and all of them surveying the entire freaking area, we could definitely say that Tien would be the most likely to find the lab. And they go to the underground bunker where Cell's creation is. No, we're not going to put in 13, 14, 15, because no. They're not canon in this story. But who is there is number 19. Now, since this is a history of Trunks and the main timeline, in the actual, in Goku's non-dying heart virus timeline, the one we know about and the one aside from Trunks's, you get my point, 19 was brought with Dr. Gero before 17 and 18. But here, since this is way different, I decided to make 19 a sentry guard for Cell's underground bunker, even though that was never explicitly shown, and honestly, 19 couldn't have even existed in the timeline. We could still show that he was a sentry guard for Cell in case someone were to get past Gero and the androids and all that. But if you think that this guard, Android 19, is going to be any different than Canon 19, or the Vegeta Super Saiyan, or Frieza Turn Good, or anything like that, nah. Piccolo instantly uses a finger beam and impales him straight through the head, or chest, whatever the frick. Point is, 19 is absolutely freaking stomped within a second of them seeing him. Then they see the chamber for Cell and destroy it and all of the underground lab. So everything's destroyed. Little do they know about Dr. Hedo, which you guys will be very surprised to see the very end of the story and what I have planned for that. Vegeta has returned back to Capsule Corp, and Bulma and the baby are there. And now it's all about Vegeta just training on his own. He explains what happened, how angry he is, and that he just wants to be left alone. And yeah, all of them have dealt with the androids, and Bulma says that too and everything. Then Bulma thinks, what if there was a way to make things right? To change things, to help out in more ways than one? And Vegeta's very puzzled by this. And she goes on to say that just because they can't bring back Goku doesn't mean that they can't try to contain or maybe control this zombie Goku. He'll never be the same Goku that he once was. But if they can't resurrect him or bring back his soul into this body, then maybe they could talk to Piccolo and Dende and get it to be at a point where they can actually contain and control zombie Goku, and he can be on their side. He'll of course be an undead killer the rest of his entire undead life, but he could still be on their side. Vegeta just angrily and confusingly and bewilderingly looks at his woman like, "Are you daft, woman? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." And he would just start to go off on Bulma. But Bulma says she really thought that Vegeta would be somewhat on board with this, and that he would want to do anything to want to fight Goku again or have him back in their lives. And she goes on to say, is your pride really that daft? You forgot all that Goku did for you and everyone else? It doesn't matter if he's an undead killer or not. She still wants to save Goku in any way, shape, or form, and this is the best way to do that. But Vegeta just cracks up laughing, and this to him is the most hilarious and dumb thing he's ever heard. And he tells Bulma that while he understands that having Kakarot back would bring back the entire morale and compass for this puny planet, he says, what could that zombie Goku or Kakarot do for them? He wouldn't be able to talk. he wouldn't be able to be controlled. The first chance that they get, Vegeta or Piccolo would either destroy him or he would try to bite one of them. And he says to Bulma, no matter if it's a quote-unquote good idea or not, it's a stupid idea. Because it not only could mean that they literally lose everyone this time, although Vegeta's not going to say that outright, but it could also mean that nothing's going to stop Vegeta from killing the frick out of this husk that was once Kakarot. Bulma just completely is against the fact that Vegeta is voting against her for this plan, and she's beside herself. She says it's not about getting them to talk or, cooperate with them. It's about getting him to be around still. Husk or not, she could figure out ways. They could figure out ways to make him as close to the original Goku as they can, so that way they don't lose him forever. No matter if his soul's not there or not, she still is not comfortable with the fact that Goku will be gone forever. So having him somehow controlled or contained in any way, shape, or form would be a freaking blessing, and it would make her and maybe some other people feel like he never left. But of course, that would take a lot of time. She goes on to say no matter if they agree or not, she would have to find ways to not only control his urge to eat and claw and kill people, but to make him actually compliant enough to not want to do anything unless, told to. Because if she can't bring him back to the old Goku he once was or resurrect him, she wants to find a way to make him a sort of defense mechanism for if they ever get into trouble. And then he can use those urgencies to protect them. So that way he would still be the sole protector of Earth, and it would be like Goku, even if it were a different side of him and an empty husk. Maybe they could find some way to control or amplify the urgencies and maybe bring him back to some form of Goku, but with her own makeup and, capsules and technology. Like a sort of, think of it as like a Venom type Goku sort of deal. She's trying to control the urgencies and killing mechanisms within this husk zombie Goku and make them more controllable to make him the secret weapon of Earth. So sort of like Dr. Gero, except actually for good, And she begins to think about this more and more and says that this could definitely work, but she would have to get approval from everybody else. Because as much as she wants to do this all on her own, Vegeta's freaking pickheadedness and, rash attitude against it will definitely rub off on Piccolo and mostly everybody else. But she says that if they can actually make this work, Goku will pretty much have never left. He'll still be a part of them, even if his soul isn't. And who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line, they can resurrect his soul, whether it's a different pair of Dragon Balls or, something. But this is the best way that she can think of to bring Goku back to them. And Vegeta is still completely against the fact that Bulma would even consider having this monster of Kakarot, it's not even Kakarot, be a part of them, and she wants to control him. And he is totally confused by this. But he knows that Bulma's not going to stop or, listen to reason. But he's not going to be the one to relay the message about this seemingly retarded plan. So he's just going to go off and train, and if she manages to make this work, only then will he have a look. But that doesn't mean he's going to not want to kill this husk the minute he sees him. But I guess he'll just see what happens. Piccolo and Dende and everybody else are soon informed, and they are just as beside themselves as Vegeta as to why Bulma would want this. But when they really think about everything Goku is, about everything he did, everything he worked to, everything he made them out to be, this plan could work. In theory, could work. But it doesn't mean that it's an unsafe as frick plan. So, Piccolo, Dende, and everyone agree, mainly Piccolo, since he's the protector of Earth, mainly, he says that he thinks it's a good idea and he will agree to this along with everybody else on one condition. He will see to it that Zombie Goku is contained his way, and he will let Bulma take over the other 30% that she wants to, maybe 50. But if this is going to be done, he is going to supersede this his way to make absolutely certain that Bulma's plan here doesn't backfire and kill them all. And Bulma agrees. Piccolo makes a strong argument. And it is a strong argument because it's a freaking zombie Saiyan. You know, they literally have to do this the safest way possible. So, Piccolo gets the container containing Zombie Goku and releases him. And once he is released, he looks exactly the same as for when everybody left him. You know, decayed, parts of flesh still coming off of him, except this time more skeleton of him is showing. And it's plainly obvious that over these past 6-7 months that he was contained in that jar, he only got worse and more bloody. And the second that he gets out, he instantly tries to go to bite or kill somebody. But Piccolo and everybody else, along with Bulma, see to it that he can't do that. And soon enough, Vegeta, Bulma, Piccolo, and Dende see to it as Bulma finishes what Piccolo and Dende started by putting Zombie Goku into a capsulized, container that is able to hold Zombie Goku in, and he can't get out. So in that container, which would honestly, it's basically like a prison security vault container sort of deal, which is all security wise in case he tried to escape, and he can't get out. But will he be able to eventually get out? What about the Majins and everything like that, and future threats? Is this the way that Zombie Goku will be forever? Will we even ever get Goku back, or is that just a pipe dream to have this creature replace him as the hero for Earth? Or is this literally what Bulma said it to be, the worst plan imaginable? And as for everyone else, can they hold back from killing this monstrosity that was once Goku? Or will future threats or anything like that force them to have to do it? And with that said, stay tuned for part 5.